Hey there, gang. Welcome back to another This Week at Skye. And today, co-host Ash.
How's it going, Phil?
Good. How are you?
Having a good morning.
All right. Now, let's talk about what did we do last week? What did you do last week?
Look, I didn't go along, but there was a NEOS Next Wave PY event. So they've hosted 2 now. I think the goal is that it will happen every couple of months, 2 to 3 months, not too sure. Lee, our BDM, is the one getting this all together. We had our 4 associates go along.
Yes. What's the next wave? What is the next wave?
Next wave is all of the young early career starters that haven't quite started their PY or have started or just finished, me.
Yeah, I know, because I wasn't invited. I got uninvited.
Yes.
Someone in the team tried to invite me and then you said, no, Phil, you're not invited.
Yeah, Ruby and Iz are really keen to keep inviting you to things that you're not invited to.
I know, but I think it's nice, but that's okay.
No, you're
That's
too
right.
experienced.
Old. Yeah, that's okay.
Not the word I used.
That's the word you thought.
Too experienced, because there are people in there who are around your age who have just entered the workforce,
Okay.
The industry. So, it's not
It's
ageist.
not an age thing. Okay, good comeback.
They were talking and learning about underwriting, so financial and medical underwriting, which would have been, really helpful to go along to, but couldn't make it.
Yeah.
But I did go along to TAL's PY community event. So once a month they have it online on Zoom. They had a BDM come along talking about sales strategies and the psychology sort of things.
Yeah, cool.
My big takeaway from that one, though, was the timeframes around underwriting assessments. If the underwriter is requiring medical reports, that normally extends the request out 6 weeks because doctors take that long to get back. So it got me thinking about, what are the sort of processes we can put in place here at Skye, if there's anything we can do to get that sort of thing moving quicker.
Yeah, it is the bane of our existence and something we're trying to work on. But you're not doing your PY anymore, so how can you go to this PY community?
I can't give it up. I feel like there's so much still for me to learn.
Okay.
I haven't taken any of it out of my calendar yet.
Am I invited to this one or no? I'm not allowed either.
I mean, it's on Zoom. I don't think Danielle would kick you out.
Okay, good. Thank you, Danielle. I'll be at the next one. For me, I went to a dinner with NEOS, with the big wigs, which was fun for all the experienced people. So that was fun.
Are you saying I'm too young?
Well, no, too inexperienced. So it was good. Was there with the big executive team. So they had 3 dinners, one in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, and yeah, it was good to have a chat, meet the leadership team, and I threw in a few curveballs at dinner, which was fun. Asking great questions. I think they're great questions.
People expect that of you now.
Unfortunately, this is the issue. The team at NEOS kind of knew I was going to be a bit cheeky and ask some questions, and so they asked me, "Oh, what difficult questions are you going to ask?" And so it was like, if they're going to expect this of me, I've got to deliver.
Yeah. Is that a lot of pressure? Come up with a really good question?
No, not at all.
Easy.
No, it's easy. I can throw spanners.
Are you holding back normally?
Yeah, most times I am, because I've got questions, and Scott watches these, which is good. And so, it was good to talk about what they're doing, what their direction is, because NEOS is an interesting company. They're not the insurance company. They're like an intermediary. So we're discussing like, where do they fit in? Where do advisors fit in? And so it was good, robust discussion, as I like to say. So yes, that was a good dinner. And I'm realising I'm getting a bit older because I can't do late nights very much. And then well done to the leadership team for being out late. And I was struggling because I'm getting older. Too experienced. As you were. The other thing that we did this week is we talked to Carly. So Council of Australian Life Insurers, they have a code of practice, and Lenny was preparing a deep dive, and she had these questions about, she used ChatGPT to do a bit of research, and I was like, that's ChatGPT is giving you old information, like, the life code of practice is new. And then so we did a bit of research with the old code versus the new code, and it looks like it's been watered down quite a lot to, less consumer protections. And so I said to Lenny, send me an email with all your questions, concerns, and I'll forward on to Carly.
I saw her drafting the email. It was lengthy, very detailed, very impressive.
It was very good. And then I forwarded on to Carly, and they responded within 24 hours with
Wow.
an amazing response. And it's like, it got me thinking how unusual it is to have any kind of like association or regulator or anything that like kind of has some influence over our work to be able to email back. Like, because I've tried to email, ASIC in the past. Like, there's a lot of like, go and get legal advice or this is the way it is.
Yeah, when you try and get help from the ATO, they won't talk. They won't touch you.
Get a determination.
Yeah.
So it was good and refreshing to have we asked questions and they just gave their response of why they've drafted it the way they have, and it was meant to be simpler and easier to understand and not to reduce any consumer protection. So so we will do a deep dive in a few months with me and Lenny on the code of practice, which is good. So let's move on to some articles that we've been reading. So we've got some fun ones that two of them tie in together.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this early UGC, which is United Global Capital, and First Guardian Determinations reveals the scale of client losses by IFA. So Keith Ford wrote this article. Talk to me about what does this article say?
Yeah, they've only done the really rough, napkin math numbers for this. So it's still not very clear what the financial impact of the First Guardian failings are looking like. But at the moment, the initial estimate is $350,000 per client. And it was looking like there were about 5,800 ballpark people affected.
Just for one of them. And then, First Guardian actually had just over 3,000, and another linked company had 5,000. So there was potentially 8,000 people with potential losses averaging 350K.
Yeah.
Woo!
And now CSLR, the compensation scheme of last resort, their cap is they will support people up to $150,000. So now on top of working out what they're going to be doing with, the big blowout that's looking like it's coming to financial advisors for this financial year, now they have to be considering, okay, how are they going to be affecting those financially affected, because that's blown out the cap as well.
Yeah. So yes, this is a great article talking about the impact. And then this week we got our bill. So, as a responsible manager of the licensee, I get notifications from ASIC saying your CSLR bill has come in. So our bill is $9,168,000. Even though we've never had an AFCA complaint, we have most of the failings of this CSLR are advice failings but linked to investments. There are very few that are actually linked to insurance advice, but we're paying $9,168 for this year, and this is a low year. This is under the sector cap. Next year is projected to be it was $18 million this year. This is the bill, and it's projecting to be 67 million. So what's that? 18 into 67 is
3 point something.
Great, good. Almost 3.5. So it's going to be 3.5 times this $9,000. Ooh,
how many advisors did we have at that point in time compared to?
Yeah, less. It's gonna grow even just based on the amount of advisors we've got as well. So now this is an interesting story, but then we got another story that came out that tailors right into this discussion.
It was a big news week for this world of things. Yeah,
and the Senate has talked about scrapping the inquiry into Dixon Advisory.
From my understanding, it's been scrapped. So they were talking about it. It was put on pause maybe 6 months ago. FAAA were saying, no, it's going to happen. We're keeping pushing to make sure this inquiry happens. And then I got an email coming through saying, breaking news, it's been scrapped.
Yeah. So just to recap, we see another thing that's similar to Dixon Advisory blow up. And the average, so far the average client impact is $350,000. We're getting bills for these previous issues of Dixon, and then the Senate has just gone and said, actually, we're not going to, do an inquiry into the failings of Dixon and how do we make sure that doesn't happen again. She'll be right.
It's
that kind of the
just
summary?
So bizarre. That's my takeaway. I was
Yeah.
wondering if you were having the same conclusion. Good to know we're on the same very wonky plate.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre because how can you scrap it when there's only more questions coming out? How do we manage the financial effects of all of this? So strange.
So this is where experience comes in.
Yeah.
And let me tell you my experience with financial services in the 12 years I've been here. Government have done a lot of things to make it difficult to provide advice under the understanding of client protection. And theoretically, there were client protections. You know, they built in statements of advice, which protects clients. Now they built in, you know, best interest duty with safe harbour steps. And pretty unanimously, future inquiries have said that these safe harbour steps are very opaque, hard to understand how to follow, and really not fit for purpose.
Yeah.
And so the government have talked about, how do we bring back some of these requirements within financial services? But in my 12 years, I've yet to see government make our lives easier and take any accountability for making it harder. Now, this is non-partisan. This is both sides. Everyone's doing the same thing. It's not like, you know, one side has come in and come into power and gone, all right, well, let's make it easier.
Plenty of change throughout that 12 years.
Oh, plenty. I mean, we've had you know, multiple different, you know, sides of government. And so that's been my experience, that financial services and financial advice is kind of just one of these pain in the necks for the government, and just like, we just don't want to have to deal with financial advice. And so having this Senate inquiry be scrapped, I think it's a bit of like ignorance is bliss. And to be fair, they've got a lot to do. Governments do have a lot to do. Financial advice isn't like a key pillar of the economy. So I understand and I accept why they do it, but I'm yet to see governments kind of step in and make our lives easier. And it's not just us. It's not how do we make advisors' lives easier. It's how do we make it cheaper, more affordable, easier for consumers to get advice.
Exactly.
So
there's an argument that, you know, the economy as a whole benefits if people are able to access affordable financial advice. So it's not, you know, woe is, you know, us sort of thing.
Yeah, and during COVID was actually a really interesting point in time where a lot of consumers went to social media, got a lot of it, you know, cryptocurrency was blowing up. And so I think governments really understood how important advice is in protecting consumers. And I guess the issues with these First Guardians and the Dixon and all this stuff is advice was actually not protecting. It was doing the damage for consumers. And so, you know, it's difficult for governments to come in and really, you know, come into an industry where they don't truly understand. The Ministry for Financial Services has never worked in this space. That's kind of...
It's a very relatively new industry as well. You know, comparing to the doctors, accountants, lawyers, engineers. These are all professions that have been around for centuries, essentially.
And the other difficulty is advisors all disagree. Like, we all fight and whinge and complain to each other. It's like, if we could all just be on the same page and go, this is good for consumers, you know, because, you know, you talk to 10 different advisors, they'll all disagree what's right for their consumers. And, you know, the way I do it is perfect and the way someone else thinks that is perfect. So I think that's a bit of an issue as well. But anyway, enough about us as advisors, enough whinging. I'll get off my, you know, old man staring at the sky. What is it? Old man yelling at the sky. Now our next topic is talking about AFL.
Yeah.
Do you watch AFL at all?
No, and I live very close to the MCG as well.
Yeah.
So,
you know what's worse than that? Because you're from Perth. AFL's big in Perth, but it's not the home of AFL. I was born and bred in Melbourne, and I'm not into AFL at all. But we do have a story about the AFL, about concussion claims disputes. So talk to me about what's going on.
yeah, so the article's been picked up by the Herald Sun. There's a handful of players who have been medically discharged from being able to continue playing AFL as a result of concussions or concussion-related conditions. And so Zurich is the insurer. They're doing the investigations as they do before they can pay out the claim. The article is basically summarising that from their perspective, Zurich is being unreasonable in assessing the claims, requiring too many tests, inappropriate, unnecessary use of personal information in their assessment of the claims. They're not releasing the information to the claimant, is another one of the complaints. And then the final criticism is that an independent concussion expert is having a different assessment of the data. Was more interested to hear what your take on this situation is. Get you on your old man soapbox.
Okay.
Around what sort of is reasonable information to be requested during a claims process?
Yeah, well, actually, going back to the discussion that me and Lenny had about the Carly's Code of Practice. So insurers have all signed up to this Code of Practice and said we will meet these kind of obligations when assessing claims. It's much more important at claims time. So they've got like turnaround timeframes of which they need to communicate back to the claimants and, assessment information. So I think, the Zurich have commented saying, well, we can't tell you anything about these claimants because it's breaching their privacy, which is fair enough.
There's an AFCA complaint going on as well, and they're not able to comment again because of privacy. Zurich have come back and, cited the what's called Life Insurers Code of Conduct. They haven't made any indications that there's been any breaches in that regard. So it's a little bit vague at this point in time.
Yeah, and again, it's one of these things as a claimant going to the Herald Sun, and I don't know how this has been reported or whatever, but you get one side of the story. Zurich can't comment because of privacy. So the good thing about AFCA is if it does go to a determination, which it sounds like it will, they do publicise what their outcome is, and they do provide pretty good details around. They don't talk about. Sometimes they don't publish a determination if you can reasonably find out who is the client.
Okay, interesting. Because this article has listed the names of all of the players affected.
Yeah, which probably makes it less likely for AFCA to publish a determination if there is public knowledge about it. Because normally AFCA in their determinations, they say Mr. C or Mr. Z or whatever. So hopefully we get a determination and we can actually read what's going on. But AFCA pretty clearly outlined, hey, this was, Zurich was in breach or they weren't in breach, and here's our reasons why. So at the moment it's more just a claimant going to the Herald Sun and saying this is my side of the story. And so it'd be interesting to see how it goes. I think what the overarching point I think about is it does potentially reduce trust in life insurers. And that's a concern given that, over 95% of all income protection payments are paid out or claims are paid out. So there's huge portions of claims being paid out. So I think this idea of let's mistrust insurance companies like a Zurich is the unfortunate takeaway for this because I don't know what the Zurich policy is for the footy players. No. I've never read that at all. But my point is every claim we've had has been paid out. We've never had a claim declined that we thought that should have been paid out. In fact, we've had claims that have been paid out that we understand why they wouldn't have if the insurance company decided not to. So our experience has been super positive when it comes to insurance companies paying out claims. So, it'd be good to see in future what the AFCA determination is.
If there's any extra information that comes out about it. Yeah. Hopefully we do get to see the AFCA determination.
Yes. Yeah, that'd be good. It'd be good to see. All right, so...
Skye team's ready, forks in hand. Ashes Bacon takes the stand.
All right, we have a special guest for Ash's Baking Corner. We got Izzy, one of our associates. Izzy, this was one of the highest rated last week, was this bun but with something different inside. What have we got today, Ashley?
Last week was cardamom buns, or Cardi B's as Trent was calling them. This week we got cinnamon buns.
Right, cinnamon buns. You get to pick which one you want, and then I have the other one. Oh, that was the one I was going to pick. Now, you know what you got to do? You got to eat it, and you got to rank it.
Okay.
They're well needed. You almost broke your KitchenAid.
Yeah, I think there was just too much dough for the size KitchenAid I have. Forgot to put the egg in, forgot to do the egg wash. There was a lot of fumbles.
Okay.
Yeah. But they still taste good, right? I'm just not happy with the texture.
We'll see.
We're about to find out.
We'll see. All right,
They're
Izzy.
really good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give it a 10.
No.
This is my childhood, and I think it's really good. You'd think I would be a bit more harsh on it because I've tried the ones in Norway, but no, like as long as the taste is there.
So,
Maybe
hold
the
on.
texture is not the best.
Bring me back. This is your childhood. You used to have these as a kid.
Yeah.
And-
Golden scones. My dad is so into baking.
And this is better than your dad's baking.
No, it's not better than my dad's baking.
So how is
But
your
I'd
dad? How is
say-
it not as good as your dad's baking, but it's still a 10? It's got to be less than, surely.
No, because it like reminds me of my childhood. It's a 10.
Oh,
It's at the same level as my dad's.
So then it has to be 9.5. Can't it be? It's got to be. Is your
Why
dad's
are you
11?
such a hater?
No, I'm not a hater. I'm just untrusting of the
I really
generous
appreciate
scoring.
Izzy staying firm in her determination. When I made the cardamom buns last week, you all were giving your ratings, and I didn't say this to anyone, but the only rating I really wanted to hear was Izzy's because I knew she grew up with them. So, yeah.
Which one's better, the cinnamon or cardamom?
Cardamom. Okay, yes, between the cinnamon and the cardamom, okay, would be cardamom 10, this one a 9.
Oh, there we
Yes.
go. The truth comes out. Oh, okay. Yeah, 9 makes sense. Texture's a little bit harder. I don't know. It's different. Why is it different? Tell me why it's different.
Because when I remembered that the egg hadn't gone in, I went, maybe I'll just try put it in now. Anyway, I didn't really learn anything other than don't do what I did. And I don't understand why it's so... Because they still proofed and expanded like this, but they didn't puff up.
Tell you what,
And I can't work that
this
part
is
out.
such good baking that you can just lift off a thing, a layer.
So you're still rating it, but it's just...
No, I'm just
different.
like, I'm so impressed at like how well done this is. And is it the KitchenAid or you?
Both. Mainly me.
The power couple.
The forgetting to put things in, which hasn't happened in a really long time. Was my undoing. In my defense, I baked the day before for my volunteering thing, so maybe that's why my brain was half gone.
I reckon it's a 9 for me. To get a higher score, I want a bit more of this sugar.
More icing sugar. So better than the cardamom bun.
Yeah, I like cinnamon,
Cinnamon
more.
more.
Yeah, cinnamon is so good. Thank you, Izzy, for giving us the honest score. Eventually. Yeah.
Ashes Bacon takes the stand.
All right, Ashley, now on to clients' situations. How have you gone this week? Talk to me about a client.
I have a client who unfortunately has gone through a very, very lengthy application process, a lot of requests for medical reports. So when he first came to us, we get all of our clients to fill out a fact find form, which is our very long, annoying form that takes a very long time, asks a lot of detailed questions about your personal situation. He was able to fill that out and provide us his best understanding of his medical situation, which was really helpful. He then went through the process, had a tele-interview with the insurer, and basically all the same sort of information. At that point in time, we were looking at a mental health exclusion, as well as one other exclusion if he were to apply for cover. What the insurer did is then request a medical report from their mental health practitioner just to get a bit of a better understanding around the severity and of the symptoms he'd been experiencing, everything that might have been disclosed. Unfortunately, in this instance, the insurers come back and declined all cover because from their perspective, the symptoms are a lot more severe than what his understanding of the circumstances are and his disclosure. So the next steps for us is I'm going to be getting him to chat to his medical practitioner that filled out this report so we can understand where there's a difference in understanding, just to check if there's anything that's been miscommunicated along the way. But it's, an important reminder that what you're talking to your doctor about, what symptoms you're disclosing, you want to be taking into consideration that you're not over-disclosing or
Just overemphasizing. Yeah.
What symptoms you may be experiencing. If your understanding, is that the symptoms are a lot more mild, but you're going to your doctor saying they're a bit more severe, just to make sure you're getting pushed over the line into a diagnosis or this sort of thing, there could be negative repercussions further down the line.
Yeah. And it is one of these things that we see a lot when it comes to mental health. Yeah, sometimes like in the past I've seen where a client, will experience something different to what is communicated. And sometimes it can be a matter of a GP wanting a client to get on a mental health care plan and therefore, mild, stress may not kind of fit the bill, but the GP's articulating something's a little bit more severe because, if they ever get audited by Medicare and making sure they're doing the right thing. And so it's really important when we have these cases that the clients go back to their GP or mental health care professional and go, let's have a conversation. What have you written down? And sometimes the insurers will take the updated information, but it needs to be kind of very legitimate. We can't be gaming the system. You can't be articulating something and then just like noting that we get a decline on an application, then just changing what we're saying, because it can look a little bit sus. And at the end of the day, it's unfortunate the insurance companies will rely on the medical practitioners more than they will on a client's disclosure.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's even to the point where we had PPS underwriter come in and talk about they, on the first application, took the client's disclosure, and then on a reapplication or an increase, they went and got more information, and it was very different. And so underwriters just, based on their personality or their experiences, they're just very skeptical human beings. And they don't believe anything we say.
No,
so,
not at all.
And the medical practitioners are liable for what they say. And so they're going to rely on that as well. So my client story was claim. So we touched on it last Monday, but I only got the email. I didn't actually get much information, but it was a client who claimed on own occupation TPD, which was $1.6 million, which meant that it got paid straight out of their super fund. So didn't go through their super fund. And the reason why that matters is because if a TPD payment goes through your super fund, you can take it out of super, but you pay tax on it. And so this client got paid just shy of $1.6 million, no tax on that amount of money, claiming on mental health after a car accident. And this client was a nurse, so going back to some form of work, I'm not sure they would have made the any occupation definition. In fact, given that it was an own occupation payment, they didn't meet that. Yeah. So, looking at the numbers that we touched on last week, is $53,000 worth of TPD that was any occupation, still wouldn't have been paid out for this client. But having an own occupation meant that this client can just reduce the stress and can just go, okay, now what do we do next?
Massively.
And has the ability to go back to some form of work in the future if they feel ready or prepared in future, and they don't need to give back that $1.6 million. It's their money. There's no giving it back. That was one claim this week. And then we had another claim of $330,000 for a trauma claim. And then a third one that was like being finalized as well. So yeah, last financial year, we didn't have heaps of claims, and last week we had like $1.9 million worth of claims.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Big week.
Yes, very big week for claims. All right, so what have we got coming up this week? We've got something exciting, Ashley. What have we got?
Big night on Wednesday night. We're finally graduating from the studies we finished
a long time ago. Like 18 months ago for me, I think. Yeah. So what are you graduating from?
I finished my graduate diploma in financial planning.
Yeah.
And what'd you do?
And I did the master's. I did the graduate diploma, which I didn't actually go to the graduation for that, but then went on and did the master's. So we're going RACV club in the city. So that'll be fun. And then this week we've got staff reviews, pay and performance reviews. So we have very structured staff reviews every 12 months. We make sure we do it. So talk to him about the survey that you had to fill in and that you didn't like.
What's my big gripe with it?
Yeah, what's your gripe?
No, look, it's a really good structured framework. We have a really good review feedback process. I already catch up with Trent, my supervisor, every fortnight, so there shouldn't be too many surprises that come up in this. But one part of it is asking you to rank 10 different values, and I just find that really frustrating.
Redundant?
Yeah.
Why do you find it frustrating? You don't like talking about your values?
They're just so vague. It's so hard to be like, oh yeah, maybe this one's more important than that one. I don't have it in front of me. Maybe I could find it, but
You didn't think it's helpful for you.
Yeah.
You don't think it's helpful for Trent to understand what you find valuable or what you find more valuable than others?
I'm skeptical.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're skeptical because you don't think Trent will act will.
Not sure what he would do with that information.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think, from as a leader in this business who sees these value chains, it's important to understand really what's the top and the bottom. The rank, the 10 ranking don't matter so much, but it's good to know. Okay, this is your one of your core values, and we got to make sure as an organisation we are helping you live out that value, or we're aligned, or if someone's value was. Again, I don't know the values either. If they're not in front of us. But if one of them was, maximising their income, then that matters in terms of the conversation. Okay, we're going to be talking about different things. And so it's important for a leader just to understand really what's your top and what's your bottom.
Okay. I feel like that context helps provide more comfortability for me in it, because I'm a get stuck in the weeds kind of person. So if there's any other Skye people watching this who haven't filled it out yet, do what you want with that information.
Yeah.
Because picking the top and the bottom is the easy part, and then I just find myself getting stuck in the middle. I'm like, don't know if I care about acceptance more than motivating, or I don't remember. These are just some of the words coming to my mind, but yeah.
Yes, as it matters because it's just the way you think about it, and they because you get asked it next year, so you'll have to, and they may change as you grow, as you different things happen in your life, different things become more important to you. And so it's good for a leader to understand that. So I appreciate your comments and feedback. All feedback is welcome. And this week we've also got some content coming out. We've got some Skye Simplifies. We're talking about health disclosures, which touches on your client experience as well. So that's a good video. We are doing a deep dive on CSLR as well. So we dive deep. It's way too long if you're not that interested. If you're interested, then definitely have a watch.
Yep.
We've got some Skye myths. So trauma insurance only pays out if I'm on my deathbed. And then we've got Friday, we've got Taz's Talks, which is always a bit of fun.
The one this morning was so funny.
Oh, that was ridiculous. That was anyone, what's the movie? What is it?
K-pop demon.
K-pop demon hunters.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. They dressed up as K-pop demon hunters, which was very, very funny. Yes. So thank you very much for watching. If you do have any questions, concerns, thoughts, feelings, hesitations, put them in the comments. We love to hear feedback. Thanks heaps for watching. See you next time.